Salutations everyone and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. Nintendo announced they're working on a new console, and that's fine and dandy, but the real news I've been waiting for is for a sequel to Daffy Duck the Marvin missions. I mean, come on, it's been 23 years. I'm tired of waiting, guys. So, Nintendo held a press conference this week citing their mobile games agreement and also their future in the console department. There are mobile games coming from Nintendo and Nintendo characters. They partnered with a mobile game developer who they now have a stock in that company, and they're going to start releasing mobile games possibly by the end of this year featuring, I mean, I assume we can only go with like mainstream guys for the time being, like Mario and Link maybe, and just hit that train for a couple of years before we actually start seeing some other stuff that we might not otherwise see. But they said that mobile is not the only thing on the horizon. They are working on their new dedicated gaming platform, which is a different way of talking about it. So they said they're working on their next gaming platform, and they're calling it the NX. NX, or, you know, code names are always fun. Anywho, not only will there be mobile games, but they're also working on a new home console, supposedly to replace the Wii U, which many people have been speculating and hoping for, as if a new console would somehow get rid of the problems that the Wii U is having. The Wii U really isn't having a lot of problems outside of not getting many third-party developers to make games for their console, but they got the best and largest first-party lineup in the current generation of consoles. But nevertheless, the sales are not very good, and some people have been saying that all their problems will be fixed with a brand new console. Now they're working on a platform. Now this is a very vague wordage that they were using when they're talking about their mobile and their handheld and their console gaming. It sounds like it's going to be one all incorporated thing, how they're all going to be shared as a gaming platform for Nintendo IPs. And that's really, really interesting. We're going to be seeing stuff only on mobile. It's not going to be taking away from the DS, which, spoiler alert, is the best-selling console right now. It's not the PS4, it's not the Xbox One, it's the Nintendo 3DS. So they're still king, and they still got billions of dollars in the bank. So Nintendo ain't going anywhere, and we should expect some awesome stuff from them in the future, including probably a new console and a bunch of new games, as well as mobile games, which people have been wanting for a while. I'm not a mobile gamer myself, really, at all. But maybe Nintendo could change that if they, release certain types of games. But, they're going to have some growing pains, I assume, going into it. But they do have a mobile game developer veteran helping them out. So we'll see what comes of this, as well as Nintendo's exciting future. The stockholders are pretty excited about it, and so are the fans. In other pseudo-gaming, mostly movie news, we got the trailer for Pixels, the movie based off of the short film of the same name from YouTube, with all retro video game characters coming to destroy the world, a la that episode of Futurama with the Nintendoidians? I forget what they were called. Anyway, the trailer is out, starring Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage, and the guy who created Pac-Man, and Kevin James, I think. The movie looks super silly, pretty dumb. People are always like, oh, retro, this is so awesome, just because retro games, I love those games. And I don't think your love for old Donkey Kong or Pac-Man games or Galaga or Centipede is really going to be the focus on this film. I think it's just going to be some slapstick, easy, nonsensical comedy that we've come to expect from Adam Sandler and Kevin James movies in the past, and I think the quality will be about the same as the rest of those. From this trailer, I didn't get anything different. It looks to be more slapstick comedy, very, very dry and stupid. But some people are excited because it's got 8-bit characters destroying New York, Is it New York? I guess, maybe. In other trailer news, we finally have a Shingeki no Kyojin trailer to go along with all of the casting and the art that we've seen for this Japanese-laden film. And a lot of people are really excited about it, which is kind of surprising since a lot of people were very, very furious about some of the changes that were made in the inception of making this film. A lot of the casting, you know, they're all East Asian instead of just Mikasa, so that was a change to the characters, and you know, that kind of makes sense, and it's, you know, because, you know, it's based in Japan, it's super popular in Japan. Of course you're going to cast Japanese actors. If it was the same in any other country, they would probably do that. That's something that I think a lot of people should probably forgive. But changing the setting to a post-apocalyptic one I thought was super duper unnecessary and just weird. And now we actually finally have a trailer, and a lot of people are really psyched that it looks really cool. I think more people are excited because it doesn't look like the worst thing ever, and that's not necessarily a fantastic sign. It's just, alright, it's not the worst looking thing ever. We all know that Japanese CGI isn't the best looking CGI available in the world, but nonetheless, it still looks pretty decent. Not as bad as it could be, as many people have been saying, but that just because it's not as bad as it could be doesn't mean it looks amazing. A lot of people are like, wow, this is fantastic, this is awesome, it's intense. Is it? Is it really? Is it really? Because, A, we don't see a whole lot, which is fine from this little weird teaser with Japanese TV overlays all over it, but it's it doesn't look that great, guys. Sorry, I'm a fan of Attack on Titan just like anybody else, but this trailer is not getting me super pumped for another live-action anime movie where they make a whole bunch of changes and have really lame CGI and questionable acting. Not to say that all of those are going to be in this film, but my hopes are definitely not as high as some people. But, I mean, hopefully it's good and the fans like it. I will reserve my judgment fully when the film actually does come out. But I don't think it looks as amazing as everybody else says. And of course, the big game release this week was Battlefield Hardline for the 360, PS3, PS4, and Xbox One. And so far, I really enjoy it. I really like it. It's not just some cops and robbers reskinned Battlefield game. Its campaign is not very Battlefield, I'll give it that. I'm not super far into the game, but there'll be a first episode of a Let's Play coming up, hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow, but so be sure to check out for that to see what I mean. But it's not very actiony so far. You're a cop, and you're collecting evidence, and you're being stealthy, and you're arresting people, and flashing your badge, and, like, you don't get to shoot very many people at all so far. But as far as like the multiplayer goes, which is of course is the main draw to the Battlefield game, I like the changes that they made. It feels, you know, not too different from Battlefield 4, but not too similar for it to feel like just some DLC that's reskinned with cops and crooks. There's some changes I don't like the weapons are exclusive to the cops or the thieves until you get like 1100 kills with them, then you can use them with either. So that's kind of annoying. The fact that you can't have pistols on any class that you want, so you have certain pistols for certain classes. So that's kind of lame. But the ability to buy the attachments that you want is pretty cool. To buy the guns that you want is really cool. The K10 is really amazing. The easiest way to get money, pro tip, is to play Hotwired and just do the objective. Super duper easy to do and actually pretty fun. The driving in this game is super smooth, feels really cool, super actiony, a lot of things blowing up, driving by bitches, running them over, shooting bitches that are driving. That game mode is actually really fun. They've sold me since the beta. It was like, kind of fun. It feels a little bit, you know, easy to win really early on. And it doesn't seem that way anymore. The other new game modes, heists seems very advantageous to the police. So that's, you know, I like game modes that are more balanced on each side. Blood Money, super fun. The one where you have to rescue hostages is different, but it has its no respawn, you know, setbacks that every non-respawning game type has with, you know, the way people play and camp and all that stuff. There's another one that's kind of like Cops and Crooks in that you have to kill one particular bad guy to win, or the bad guy gets away on a boat or something. So that one's pretty fun as well. That can go for some crazy things going on there. Conquest's fun. I don't have to worry about tanks so much. There's still not a whole lot of easy ways to blow up helicopters, but as far as ground vehicles, they're pretty easy to destroy. We got, breaching charges and the sabotage thing, which shouldn't be allowed in Hotwired, I think. But the multiplayer is really fun. I like the guns. I like some of the new game modes. The campaign hasn't won me over yet, but it's different at least. I'll definitely give it that. So definitely try it out. If you like Battlefield, you'll like this game. It's fun. And finally, we have some more Marvel news concerning Captain America's Civil War. It's gonna start shooting in April, so in like a couple weeks. That's pretty crazy, especially since Spider-Man's supposed to be in it and he hasn't been casted yet. So that's a little sign, because obviously this Spider-Man deal was fairly recent. I assume like the script, or at least the storyboards for the film, was created far before the Spider-Man Sony deal was struck. So they would probably have to make changes to incorporate Spider-Man as much as they should in the Civil War storyline, since he is kind of the main character, caught between Iron Man and Captain America fighting each other, which I assume they're going to, really dumb down, because it's going to be hard to explain to your child why Iron Man is all of a sudden a bad guy. So that might be definitely something that would be really weird, that Disney devs think, oh, probably the super popular character, we shouldn't be, as faithful to the comic, because it would make him really, really bad and people wouldn't like him. So I assume that's going to be watered down. I assume the conflict is going to be very, very much shortened. Not only is it one movie, but I don't think that they're going to make this struggle between Captain America and Iron Man the end game of the film. I think with Daniel Bruhl's casting, might be teaming up with Crossbones, since we saw he's alive at the end of Winter Soldier. They might, take the limelight as the final bad guy of that film and have Captain America and Iron Man, just feel like, hey, okay, let's fight these guys and we'll settle all differences later or whatever. I'm not too sure. Apparently Black Panther is, might be taking the place of Spider-Man in this film, because he's supposed to be a major character, Kevin Feige said, in the Captain America Civil War storyline. He's supposed to be a major focus in this film, so he might be taking Spider-Man's place in being caught in the middle. There's the whole deal with Wakanda and, the stock of vibranium that they have there, so has interesting elements to it. Spider-Man's supposedly going to be making an appearance in this. That's the biggest rumor. He's going to be making an appearance in a Marvel movie before Kevin Feige makes his own Sony Marvel, conjunction over in 2016. So yeah, this looks like they're going to be the best spot to introduce Spider-Man. I don't think it's going to be in a very big aspect. It sounds like they're casting super duper young for Spider-Man, probably like 14, 15 years old, which is much younger than we saw Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. And I don't have my hopes up for that casting, or for Civil War storyline to be, 50% represented from the comics to the big screen. But as long as we get a good film and we get some good continuity going in the MCU, I guess that's okay. They're making the best out of a bad situation. They're kind of rushing it, I feel like, but, with Robert Downey Jr. and the contracts, and they're just talking about Captain America getting killed off eventually and the Winter Soldier taking over. I don't know. It's a whole lot of moving parts, but it's just very interesting. We have this Civil War comic book coming back with the whole Marvel reboot, Secret Wars thing going on. So they might go back and change up Civil War a little bit to make it a little bit easier transition from comic to movie, with changes that they could make there. Make Spider-Man less prominent, or put in Black Panther in there. I'm not sure what they're going to do. There's a lot of different steps for them to take if they want to go in that direction, but just a whole lot of mystery right now. But it's shooting next month, so there's not going to be a lot of mystery soon. Any hooting the blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you'd like to know what matters in the future, you can click the subscribe button that I'm not going to annotate here, because I think it's a little bit more satisfying to hit the one down below, isn't it? And it makes that awesome noise too. Did you click it? Was there no noise? That's alright. I'm just troll. See you guys next week.